Tailoring your recommendations. Before delivering your recommendation to the guest, you now have the opportunity to prepare one last thing. This is the exciting part where you get to tailor your recommendations to the specific guests that you have at the table. There are a few things that will play a part: the time of day, the weather, the gender of your guests, dietary requirements, the price, the kitchen, and popular dishes. Let's start by looking at the time of day. The time of day will largely determine what you recommend to your guests. Would you want to eat a steak for breakfast or eggs Benedict for dinner? Okay, maybe you would, but most guests wouldn't. For lunch, offer lighter meals such as salads or sandwiches. For dinner, guests will generally enjoy larger, more substantial meals such as a juicy steak with a rich sauce and side dishes, or a baby chicken with rice. Next, let's look at the season and weather. The weather also sets the tone for which dishes the guest will enjoy. Imagine enjoying a hearty stew when it's cold and rainy, and a steaming soup to warm you up in winter. Similarly, when it's warm, lighter or colder dishes are more appropriate: fish, seafood, salads, or cold soups. The time of year or season will also have an influence. Some ingredients are best enjoyed when they are in season, such as asparagus in spring or figs in summer. Next, the gender of your guests. Your recommendation may also be guided by whether your guest is male or female. Your male guests may often enjoy larger portions and heavier dishes, a beef stroganoff or 400-gram steak, while lady guests may enjoy smaller portions of lighter dishes such as chicken or fish. Use your menu knowledge to guide guests here. Now, let's look at how your guests' dietary requirements will influence your menu recommendation. If you know your guests have special dietary requirements, you should use this knowledge to guide their choice. For example, you would obviously recommend a vegetarian dish to a vegetarian guest, or point out the dishes with nuts to a guest with a nut allergy so that they know how to avoid these dishes. They would be very disappointed if they chose a dish only to find out that they cannot eat it. Similarly, if a guest tells you that they are in the mood for a specific type of dish, such as pasta, suggest a lovely spaghetti carbonara, or if they feel like beef, recommend a succulent fillet. Next, let's look at price. While it might be tempting to recommend only the most expensive dishes on the menu to raise the total of the bill, don't do this. It is very unprofessional, and the guest will quickly pick up on this. It will seem as though you don't know the dishes, and so are only choosing the expensive ones. Rather, recommend dishes from a number of price ranges. Also remember that if you are recommending specials that are not on the menu, you must inform the guest what they cost, so that it won't be awkward for them to ask. Now, let's look at the role the kitchen plays in your recommendation. During the pre-service meeting, the kitchen will often inform you of dishes that they want you to push or promote. This can be because they have a lot of stock of that item, or because they know how good it is. If so, bear this in mind in your recommendations. Finally, let's look at recommending popular or personal favorites. It might be that the guest gives you no information as to what they might enjoy, making it difficult for you to make a tailored recommendation. If this is the case, you can fall back on dishes that you know are popular with your other guests, or dishes that you enjoy personally. It's always great to add a personal touch to your menu recommendations. To finish this lesson, let's take another look at the main points to bear in mind when making recommendations. The time of day, the weather, the gender of your guests, dietary requirements, the price, the kitchen, and popular dishes. Good luck tailoring your recommendation to each individual guest.